up early in the morning for this show.
Do you want to record?
Welcome to the Galactic Conversations.
Oh, you started recording already?
Of course, babes, of course.
God, okay. So I'm still waking up. That's why I had to make...
Yeah, I wanted to capture this moment, you know.
Oh, okay. These people that wake up at the crack of dawn.
Up since 5:30, so...
Yes, well, I was up at 6 because I had this, programmed in my mind since last night.
Yeah.
Because I cannot, if I'm woken up with an alarm clock, my whole system is disrupted.
Really?
Yeah.
So you just programmed yourself to wake up?
I have to do that, because every day I basically wake up naturally. I don't use alarm clocks.
I don't either anymore.
Yeah, because it interferes with my whole system. So last night I've been up since 6.
Well done, Justine. Look at you.
No, I'm proud of myself.
Master at work here.
Mastering this waking up at the crack of dawn. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me, hey?
Actually, interestingly enough, I've been noticing my sleeping patterns where I'm going to bed much later and I'm waking up earlier, and sleep is precious to me. Yes. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. Well, but winter, I'll sleep for like 13 hours. No problem.
Yeah, but you'll also find as you doing different aspects of alignment. I'm going to call it alignment. You will find that your eating habits change, your sleeping patterns change. Because I know a few months ago, I would wake up every morning at about 2:00. Yeah. And it happened for quite a few months, but that's while I've been aligning my timelines. But now I wake up, when the sun is up, but I wake up naturally.
It's so interesting with the food. Like recently I noticed, so I didn't notice it when it happened. It wasn't a decision that was that I cognitively made, but all of a sudden I noticed that I wasn't eating onion anymore. I wasn't preparing with onion, and I used to love onions. And I was just like, this is so weird.
Oh, it's quite so weird. It's quite natural in terms of the like I say, you're going to go through different levels of alignment depending on what you're doing and where you are. I mean, your clan knows this.
Yeah.
But and like I say, you will have variations in your sleeping patterns. You will have variations in your food. So I know for myself, I don't eat meat because I pick up the vibration of the animals, especially if they're not being fed properly. It's all genetics.
Which most of them are not.
Genetically modified. And especially with eggs. So you will pick up as you go through your different alignments, depending on where you are, or what you're doing, or what your frequency is. It doesn't matter. I mean, but your eating habits will change. The aspects of it could be very distinctive things, like I know with myself, for example, but I've had this for quite some time, is with fabrics. So I cannot wear anything other than cotton. These people that wear these sports gears.
Polyester.
God. So certain fabrics that basically agitate you. Yeah. I know with all my partners that I've been with, not that there've been many, they've only been 4 in my lifetime. And all of them used to sleep in this polyester, polycotton stuff. Yeah. And after being with me for, I think my shortest relationship has been 7 years. But after being with me, they can't sleep in polycotton. They can only sleep on
Egyptian cotton.
Cotton percale, you know, so there's got to be a certain threshold. But there will be also, it could also just boil down to the music that you listen to.
Of course.
You know, so those were aspects. We discussed this in the, not the first episode, the third episode, with respect to the aspects of mastering oneself is basically getting to understand how your body mainly vibrates.
How you respond to the world.
Yes, it's very important, you know, because I think
this is really interesting though, because for example's sake, I'm going to go way off here, but I'll get to my point. So for example's sake, when I was working with Noxie, so for those of you that are not listening, please understand, take it or leave it. What resonates, the rest, just leave. So I'm going to be moving into, the topic of being a Twasa and the Sangoma sort of initiatory process, etc., etc. So while I was in this, dabbling in this process, it was like the initiatory process, and I understand why it's there, but it was like, it's so hardcore, and it's like supposed to rip you out of, all comfort zones to really actually put you in a space of suffering. But to me, that was counterproductive from a self-mastery perspective, especially when you've gained a certain level of self-mastery, where I was like, but if this process is supposed to demean me and break me down to break my ego, when I've already done plant medicine work to do that, and it's actually not good for my nervous system. So, for example, like, instead of sleeping in a bed, I'll have to sleep on the floor. I have to sleep outside. And it's like, I'm very capable of doing that in a non-egotistical way. I'll go camping, blah, 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 blah. But if I've got a bed and that bed speaks better to my nervous system, and therefore I wake up refreshed, ready to do this work so that I can see clients and live my life, then why would I not do that thing? That was my whole questioning.
But you have raised a very, very, very important question there, and
thank you.
No, it really is, because I think, and I know, because I've experienced it, and we've experienced it on this channel where you've had a few of your clan mention the aspect of drinking and smoking, and not being
your channel,
an authentic, I'm not authentic channel, or of the light, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And this is, your experience with Noxie, I think, was it was
hugely necessary.
It was essential. But the aspects of just that question being posed, because,
like, why are we perpetuating suffering? And therefore, why is Africa still suffering? Because everything is a vibration, and we're creating a match to that. So I'm like trying to surpass that and move into sovereignty and break down old systems.
Yes, okay,
that was my belief.
Okay, but you need to understand the aspects of the karma that they carry. First of all.
Good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can go into this in another episode in terms of the different, because, for example, like South Africa is the solar plexus of the solar plexus, so it carries a lot of energy for the rest of Africa, but the karma that Africa carries is long and hard. So the evolution there still has a long way to go. Okay, that's their story.
I've actually read somewhere that Africa is, as a land mass, and therefore a country, so if we're delineating here, one of the last countries to actually ascend as a population.
Yeah. So and it also carries a lot of karma, in terms of aspects of their culture. I don't want to go into this because I don't. that's the culture of a nation. It's a culture of a people. You cannot force that evolution. Okay,
there has to be a learning.
Yeah, but it's the same as the area in United States, Mississippi, and where they get a lot of hurricanes and flooding. It's happened there a few times where a lot of black magic happens. So the karma of the land and the people have a lot to carry. So there's still a lot of evolution process there. But with regards to Noxie, the presence of her, I have to wait for the right word here. The presence of her, I'm going to call it an internship, planet Earth, was, because I worked with Noxie once or twice, but the aspects of her integration with what you were involved in, I didn't think was necessary. She thought it was necessary, but she was far more evolved than that. And I think that just created more, it created more anxiety. But I understand the process because it's a culture.
Of course.
Of
course. And there's massive respect there.
Yeah, I understand because there's a culture there, But coming back to your experience, I think this is so important because when you are being guided by individuals, mentors or teachers or whatever the case may be, you can be so manipulated.
I was going to say, you can disempower yourself so quickly.
Disempower yourself so quickly, and you hit it right on the head. It's like if the essence of my system, because that's what also these teachers don't understand, is that everybody has got their own unique system. I mean, when I train people or I mentor people, and I see this with my clients, is that each soul is individual. They have a unique energy system, and you have to work to that, according to that, to their profile. So you make the journey more comfortable for them. You don't infuse anxiety and stress and so I have to wait for the right word here, where you initiate aspects of,
I know which word you're looking for. I've also got it on the tip of my tongue. Yeah.
But like sleeping on the floor, to institute some thought or frame of mind or some lesson or something, because yes, suffering is part of humanity. Okay, it's an existential part of humanity because suffering is inevitable. But the lesson in that is how it molds and shapes you. And that includes your spiritual dimension.
And the thing is, within the self-mastery is going, your self-mastery is knowing thyself, responding to situations. So, and, I think part of the experience that I had at the time that I was describing is like this preparation for, or that's what it felt like, this preparation for when everything dissolves and everything is taken away from you, as an example, right?
I hear you 100%.
Yeah, so can you live without those things?
Yes.
But within the self-mastery of an individual, if one individual already has aspects within themselves that they know they can survive with nothing in the earth, off-grid, walking along the river, whatever, then why go backwards and forwards? Carry on your trajectory.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm like, I will remain in my calm nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system as much as I possibly can until the proverbial shit hits the fan. And yes, then I'll have to adjust, transmute, integrate, but it's not that it's not impossible for me. you know. And if I need to ground myself within my own self-mastery, then I may sleep on the floor. But for you to force me to do so, to teach me some valuable lesson, is, I'm just like, I think we're a little bit at a different level to that.
Yeah,
So
look,
that was my experience.
I'm in total accordance with it, you know, because I'm, you know, for me, when I work with people, individuals, I'm very, I've got to wait for the right word here. This is important. The sacred events of working with the soul is so much responsibility, and I take
so
that
profound.
very, very seriously.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in the work that I've done, you know, whether it's the guardians of light or just people working in corporate or whatever the case may be, is that everybody has a unique system. And I look into that, I respect it, and I work within those timelines, you know, according to what I see.
Accordingly,
yes. And I think that so many people out there are manipulated into doing things that are actually adverse to their expansion.
Yes.
Because I feel it.
Yes.
I don't get involved in it, no, but
it's like providing a modality for someone that doesn't actually suit them at that point in time. And this is where the network of light workers or healers, whatever you want to call us, come into play. When we are working in integrity, it's this mycelial network that it's going, actually, you're not suited to be working with me. You should be going to XYZ.
Correct.
You know? Yeah.
You know, because I've had this with when I say clients, I mean aspects of individual that are more third dimensional.
Yes.
Within the working environment and their life. Yes. Then with individuals that are working in the fourth and fifth dimensions.
Fifth dimension, yeah.
Where like I said in last week's episode, somebody will ask me, okay, I want to do ayahuasca. And I'll go and I'll look and I'll say, look, it's not conducive to your system. That's what I'm seeing. Your decision at the end of the day is what you're gonna do. Of course. But and then whatever I see, what other elements I see. So I think a lot of people out there in seeking the truth, not only the truth, but seeking their own path, seeking answers, seeking. I think sometimes it's more of seeking validation. So they will do whatever, you know, if you're going for a master class or it's a broad spectrum, because you could be working one-on-one, you could be working in a group, whatever the case may be. But I think a lot of people out there are manipulated because they have they're seeking that sense of wanting to belong and making progress. But like I say, sometimes it's adverse, you know. And for me, I mean, you know, I love my luxury. And the important aspect of COVID, you know, we discussed this, I think in episode 3, we were talking about, what were we talking about? What do you call this thing, the jab?
Yeah.
Yes, the aspects of the jab and COVID.
Yes.
But the dynamics of COVID from a higher perspective is to slowly get people, right, to be able to live without a job for 18 or 12 months.
Yes.
You know, so it's okay, it's not a slow process. It was like quite, you know, instant.
Yeah.
But that's why I say the integration of COVID it's from a higher perspective, because it's preparing humanity for the greater issues at hand that are still coming. So how do you prepare yourself for and I'm going to bring this in again because it's a huge thing on my list is the climate crisis. How do you manage
prepare for mayhem?
Yes, how do you manage not having water, right? If you haven't experienced not having a job for 18 months. So it's almost like a stepping stone for humanity to align with the stressors, because if you look at the aspects of divorces, suicides, mental stress, mental health issues, all of those, domestic violence, all of those on that spectrum have increased.
Yeah.
And it shows that humanity are not able to cope very well
integrate, yeah,
in a crisis. And you look at that also at the health professionals, in terms of the psychiatrists and the therapists and the counselors. You know, it's quite a large spectrum, but the increase of their work has gone from 60% to like 600%, and that gives you a clear indication that within this COVID paradigm, that's why I said behind it there are so many other aspects, that
of course
relationships that were sound before COVID, pre-COVID, are now in chaos, and that's professional relationships, private interpersonal relationships. So it's affected everything that was pre-COVID seemed normal,
stable,
and stable, and it's slowly. That's why I say the aspects behind COVID are more complex than just a virus.
Of course,
it's basically an introduction. It's the universe is saying to humans, doesn't matter how the COVID how COVID was integrated, whether it was the Chinese or this or whatever. That's just whatever.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter anymore. You know, these conspiracy theories and whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The aspect, the chaotic, and I was talking about this in our last episode. The aspect of chaos, for me, okay, it's been hard on everybody, but the aspect of chaos for me it's a beautiful form of art.
Yeah, it's a dance.
Because it's a representation of evolution.
It's the process of mirror.
Evolution. It's the process of evolution, and it starts as this, and it's almost like an artist that does a sculpture, and you're sculpting this thing. So COVID, you can basically imply, if you like, is a ball of clay. Now, and the aspects of for humanity is the clay, and COVID is the sculptor. So now COVID is coming in and sculpting humanity to prepare for to deal with human issues, okay?
And existentiality.
Yes. So that they can raise their vibration, okay?
Yeah.
And prepare for future aspects like climate crisis, which is huge on the list. The fourth if you want to look in the corporate aspect or on a world domination scale, the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence, space exploration, all those aspects. So it's giving humanity a little bit of a wake up, saying, okay, guys, you're going to have to start.
And extraterrestrial encounters as well, which are already happening loads, you know. Yeah.
So the question that you posed, you know, is important.
About calming the nervous system as much as possible until
exactly, because people out there, and you see it in the mainstreams of health, you know, physical health, mental health, especially emotional health. It's, you know, the wave has gone up, and it shows you that humanity are not very do not have clear tools on how to cope with crisis.
Yeah, you know, and the thing is, I actually feel really sorry, you know, not in a sympathy but in an empathic way, compassionate way, for those psychologists, psychiatrists out there, counselors, suicide hotlines and stuff, because if those individuals as souls are not kind of on some sort of awakened path, and they're strictly in the cognitive space of their practice, they too, as individualized souls, are going through their existential crisis, and it must be intense for them. I mean, it's intense for everyone, but you've got to have the tools, you know?
Yeah, look, and I think they're there for a reason, you know? And I think through this, this sculpting, what COVID is doing, it's sculpting humanity. It's, you know, it's sad that people have died, but it's beautiful. For me, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know,
of course, that's the circle of life.
Yeah, and through
know,
this,
the Phoenix.
through this episode of COVID and pre-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID, which will be another few more years, you know, therapists gain information about how humans relate now. They can truly see, they have evidence of how humans really relate. Before it was like kind of like wishy-washy.
Textbook, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But now there's clear evidence.
Data.
Data. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So no,
How was your Halloween? We've just gone past Halloween. I remember, and I had this thought, just to flip topics here. I had this thought that what was it, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, I was with you on Halloween with Carolina doing ceremony.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Oof. I don't know if it was Halloween, but okay.
It was Halloween, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, yes. But was it a private session?
It was a private one at your house with Carolina. Okay. And there were like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of souls lined up to be cleared into. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember now.
Obviously, I was just at ceremony this weekend on Halloween on Samhain, and obviously I'm working with the Celtic witch. I actually had a dream that I was a witch yesterday, but anyway, you know, so it was like Beltane and Samhain and this beautiful like magic, and then I was like, I think I should ask the question, how is Halloween for someone that is so, I mean, is the veil just as open for you every other day, or is Halloween even more thinner?
No. It's more or less the same for me.
More or less the same for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I thought, let me ask
this
question.
Really, it doesn't matter whether it's Halloween or whatever. It's
Easter. Yeah.
It's the same, you know. Yeah. I will say that what I do feel in terms of
that specific portal energy,
it's not even, you know, because with me aligning my timelines now, when you align your timelines, you bring together, because you mentioned portal now. You're basically aligning your information, experiences from
timelines and dimensions.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
To go into a higher aspect. So my aligning of my timelines is a porthole.
Yes, I can imagine so. Yeah.
So
it's so big, because I mean the question here comes in from me as muggle and teacher. So it's like, you've verbalized before that this is your last incarnation. You have knowledge of that. You also know, you remember and have memory of all your lives. You know and this is what you're merging now.
Yes.
So my question is, in this, what did you call it earlier with Noxie? Anyway, the school of life on earth in this incarnation for you, if you failed to merge one of those timelines, would you have to come back?
If you failed to merge them?
Yeah, like, is it like if you missed out one little timeline and one dimension somewhere where you were an amoeba, the consciousness of an amoeba, and you
No, that doesn't
is the
happen.
question invalid?
It is.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, then I'll change the, no, it's so chilled. I'll change the question. Is there any way you could fail this earth experiment, this incarnation, and have to come back? Or is it like it's in the contract that this is your last one?
If I choose not to.
Okay. So really free will, hey?
Correct. But I choose to go now because I'm hot for.
Yeah.
You know, and the funny thing, not the funny thing is, but I think why I'm so frustrated and why I have that, I'm very, very cynical, you know, when it comes to the aspects of humans, because I've seen the history, and you know, I remember I remember a lot of fighting, you know, during the Dark Ages, during the different eras, even in Atlantis times, you know, where it basically at the end came down to power and control. Like, okay,
it was Lemuria that was the glorious time before Atlantis. Yeah.
We do not want to give power and control over now, you know, to the other nations. So it's the same. From there, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Yes, you had the presence of Atlantis and the honor. It's the same as in the Knights Templar and King Merlin and Lancelot and the you know, okay, that was the Dark Ages. So
what was your most significant, like, I mean, like, what's the timeline that you most enjoyed? Was there even one?
Are you talking about here on planet Earth?
Yes, let's stick to Earth.
I would say that aspect of secret societies.
Okay, cool.
Because you basically protected sacred information.
Yeah.
Until the church came along and we discussed, we didn't go into this in detail, but
yes,
they knew that if this information, because if you look at influential people over the history of time, and you know, the list is bountiful. Those individuals went basically trained in secret societies.
Yes, of course.
And you know, the church, okay, not in the beginning when these secret societies were evolving, the church got wind of this and said, okay, this is a big no-no, because we need to control this, we need to be in charge, and basically confiscated over hundreds of years sacred information. But obviously these secret societies...
Have you gone into those vaults? Can you astral project into those vaults?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
There is...
How much is there?
There is so much you don't understand.
Wow.
Like ancient artifacts.
So would that be classified as theft, actually?
Of course it's theft.
Yeah.
It's like of course it's theft.
It's theft, right?
It's theft.
From the Vatican, people. We have, this is headline news on the Galactic Conversations.
What do you think the church is? The church is a
organized syndicates.
A company.
Yes, of course. And this is
what very, 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 very powerful.
You know, I tried to explain to my mom once that banks are merely companies that we all align to and consent to. And she couldn't, I mean, this is a woman that works in stocks and this and that, you know, and she was like, no, the banks won't allow you to do that. I'm like, you realize that we are consenting to the allowance of these things. It's just a company, Mom. It's a corporation.
That's it. It's a corporation.
It's not a, you know.
That's the word.
Yeah.
The corporation.
Corporation.
So to get back to your question, I think that's also what's so sad. You know, even during Jesus's times and the aspects of Mary Magdalene, and there was, I think it's just sad for me that humanity stands where they are now, and there's still no integrity or honor or the presence,
even in the basic things.
And I mean, just.
And I'll give you a basic. I have to say this. So, okay, I'm just going to be authentic here. This is authentic expression. I'm clearing the timeline of when my head got chopped off for being too honest. So I'm going to splurt it out here.
Yeah.
This is my thought, guys. When I go into a public bathroom and there's toilet paper and stuff everywhere when there's a bin there, and this is the female bathroom, let's not even talk about the masculine side. I look at this and I think, where did this go wrong? From opening the door, sitting on the toilet, having a piss, and wiping and exiting. How did this happen in this little space? And now you ask yourselves why we are so controlled and why the things that are happening to us are happening when we can't even manage these little things. That is my truth.
Well, we're not consciously aware of what.
No.
If you walk into the bathroom,
paper everywhere. I know it's like off topic, but that's where I'm like.
No, it's true. But it's a small little aspect of when you're walking towards the bathroom. Okay, you may be thinking about, okay, I need to go to the toilet, but there are 1,000 other aspects that are floating in your mind. You are not consciously aware that I'm walking through a mall. Just taking an example, a mall now.
Yeah.
I'm walking, because this is what I do. I'm walking through the thing. I'm going to the toilet now. Okay, there's 5 people coming towards me, so I move. So I don't come near me.
Yes, I do that as well.
I look at the tiles. I walk in. I see the lighting, because lighting also affects me.
Yes.
I walk in. I see, okay, there's a mirror. There's a this. I pick up the sense. See if it's clean. Okay, then I never touch the handles. I never touch any handle. I close the door with my foot. I never sit on a toilet. Then I take the toilet paper, the first 6 or 7 lines, I take that off because somebody's touched that, and then put it in the toilet.
I'm so glad I brought this up.
You know, I'll look at the door if there's something written on the door, whatever the case may be. Then I'll pee-pee, and then I don't touch the toilet. I flush, and then I open the door with my foot. Then I go out and I see how much soap is in the dispenser. Does the tap actually work? How many times do you actually have to push that tap down? And what's the pressure of the water? So is it there for like a second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds? Then I'll notice the people around me.
You're fully engaged.
People are not consciously aware.
I know.
And that's basically the essence of self-mastery.
Of course.
You are present in the moment.
Every moment.
So I'll give you an example.
Go for it.
So Caroline and I were watching this Transformer movie.
Yeah.
Too much for me, because there's just
there's
too much movement. There's too much movement.
Yeah.
So there's action going at the speed of light, right? I mean, the whole fucking movie is just action. But then I'll say to her, "Oh, did you notice the Harrods van?" So there's like a Lamborghini and an Aston Martin and all kinds of cars that I go, woof! And then I'll say to her, "Oh, did you notice the Harrods van?"
Yeah.
So,
but you're funny when you're talking about film. So myself and my bestie, another bestie of mine, she's in the film department, props department in film, right? also very activated, and it's like when we watch movies now, I haven't even watched, I'll watch that one you mentioned last week, but when we watch stuff now, we're like, that's been placed, that's a program, that's propaganda, that's that. Like, you can't even just sit and watch something anymore. Like, it's got to be very well produced, I think, if you know. But otherwise, it's all just implants, you know.
Yeah, if you're attuned, you'll pick it up.
You see it, like, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so blatant. It's well so done, guys. So like, in your face.
I'll say to her, like, if we watch a movie, okay, that's the killer.
Yeah.
Because you smell it through the series or a movie, or he's cheating on his wife or whatever. Yeah. But it's just started at the beginning of the movie, so it's very boring. It's so predictable.
Yeah, exactly. It's so predictable. Yeah, it's so predictable.
Okay, but I wanted to come back to the aspects of the church.
Toilets, awareness, the church, yes.
Yeah, so they've stolen. It's like during the Second World War, you know, where the Nazis basically pilfered everything from the Jews.
Yeah.
And you know, and then they sent it to Switzerland, which are the good Germans.
Yeah.
You know, to store in the good Germans. Stored in
the good Germans, yeah.
Stored in the what's in the vaults. So I would say that the history of my time on planet Earth has been very dark. You know, there's been a lot of war, a lot of blood, and if I see where we've come now, okay, technology is a different story, because I mean, you can have a heart transplant now. You can have, if you don't have an arm, you can have, you know, an artificial you know, and there's nanotechnology, and then there's neuroscience, and you know, the list goes on. But really, how wise has humanity become? And it scares me in terms of not only the climate crisis that's been caused by humanity, but in terms of artificial intelligence, and that's why, you know, a lot of these crystal kids that are coming in are there to basically is to ensure that artificial intelligence doesn't exceed.
It remains balanced.
It remains balanced, you know, because they see things in a different light.
Yeah.
So whether you're talking about,
and this is important, because people need to understand that although we are sending, there will always be a polarity. So we will merge with AI alongside, and that's why Justine's saying at this moment, like that it remains in balance, that it doesn't go into excess. That's the word she used.
Artificial intelligence is far way ahead of
here.
Artificial intelligence is far way ahead of humanity.
Yes, of course.
You know.
Because
it is because humanity's it hasn't really expanded, and
it also hasn't had to filter through trauma like a human has. It's just collecting data.
But not only that, is that
an excessive rate.
And the thing is that when an algorithm, I'm just going to say an example here. So you have a computer.
Yeah.
Someone from Facebook, you know, those idiots. Okay.
Do you know that our podcast has been? I wasn't allowed to load it onto Apple Podcast because of explicit content.
Really?
Yeah, I just got the message today.
Mine was loaded.
You may get an email soon saying explicit content.
Okay. Anyway.
So guys, this is what we're saying. This is our free platform, our video.
So
our content. Find us.
You'll get someone.
Find us down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, someone from Facebook that institutes or inputs an algorithm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. The computer reads that algorithm and starts to process all that data. But the thing is that it's so fast that even the people that instituted that algorithm, after a while, don't even understand it.
Of course.
So that's why the aspects of crystal children. Because they see things in a different light. Okay.
Correct.
Briggs.
Yeah.
Sorry, my battery. Can you hang on 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Sorry, get my cord.
Go for it.
Hold tight.
I'll keep chatting. Hey. Sorry, guys. I'm actually, just hold on one second. Yeah. Sorry, I've got people coming outside my window. Hold on one second, guys. Thank you. Hey, buddy, I'm just on a call. Thank you. I'm on a call. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, this is Galactic Conversations. Guys, we also ask you to to pose your questions, what is happening in your consciousness stream, what is happening in your collective field, what is happening in your individualized field, what out there questions do you wish answered? You've seen, I'm asking questions about lifetimes, can you fail your Earth experiments and not ascend, all of these things. So just ask us questions, send us posts. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, and Justine is back.
I'm back. Sorry, I had to get my cord.
That's chills.
So in terms of the crystal children, and these are kids that also, if you look at...
they can see into those algorithms way more than...
yes,
the people that coded them.
No, definitely. Because like I say, they see things in a different perspective, and it could be from a mathematical perspective, a medical perspective. So, if there's, for example, a problem in the body, I don't know, and somebody's gone to hospital and they've done tests, and they will be able to see the full picture of how it affects the 65 different aspects of the body.
Yes, of course. Of course.
And then from a mathematical perspective.
So actually, in essence, in the now to future timeline, science is old. And a lot of, I've heard a lot of spiritual, I don't like to use that word, but let's say highly activated people who've written books and and they have the guys from Harvard and things like that have got their PhDs in quantum physics and stuff, reading these activated people's books and going, we need this information. Yes, and it's shame, you've just done your 7-8 years of your PhD in whatever, and it's outdated, bro. In fact,
it's true. And anyway, those people from Harvard work for the corporations and for governments.
Yes, of course.
That's,
of course. Yeah.
So yes, exactly.
So this is my little advertising insert here, my marketing to Ascension of going guys, there's so many things that you could study and learn and but when you're tapping into the source field, the information is so much better.
Well, you're getting intergalactical when you're tapping into the source field, which means that basically it depends on what timeline you're in and what level your soul is on.
Of course. We forget this, yes.
Because humans, I think, only 3 or 4 strands of their DNA are activated.
Yeah.
So these crystal kids will have 7 or 8 strands.
Yeah.
So
or even higher sometimes.
Or even higher, yeah. So the aspects of their integration onto planet Earth is, first of all, to prepare, or they are there in terms of the next frontier, which is space.
Yes.
That's a big thing. And then obviously in terms of climate crisis, that things can be developed to clean our oceans, clean our air, that don't create even more damage than what humans have already done. And then, so from that perspective, in terms of the crystal kids, and you've got the, I just want to finish this.
Go for it.
The crystal kids.
But I'm going to get controversial here, so go for it.
Okay. Who are also autistic. They're on that spectrum. If you look at Greta, what's that activist?
Yeah.
She's autistic.
Yes.
And she's one of the crystal kids.
But she's been used, has she not?
No, well, it does. The path of her journey has not been easy. She's had this depression and bullying and whatever the case may be. But she is.
I just feel there's been an interception there. They've known that about her, and there's been a PsyOps mission around her. That's what I feel.
look, there's a whole lot of that's funny.
And this leads me to my controversial. So may I go for it?
Yes, go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
So this leads me to my controversial thing. I know in the last episodes we've spoken about the jab. It's here. We speak about the white elephant in the room. Why not? You know, that's what we're here for. But you know, and we please know that we are in awareness. Your choice is your choice. However, I have to ask the controversial question. It's going, cool, these crystal kids are coming in. These occultists / corporations, they know that. They know that. Maybe they don't know the full power of it, but they know, you know. And this is where conspiracy theorists would come in, or especially those like in with further along their ascension path or enlightenment would say, well, this is what the jab is about, because the moment you get that jab, you are diminishing the
your influence.
Your pillar of light to your powers and your psychic gift, so that these children cannot perform at this high functional crystal starseed 12-strand DNA individualized streams.
Yeah.
However, and I think this is important, the crystals know that. So they may like say, Mom, Dad, I don't want to do this thing. Hopefully their parents listen. But the other aspect of it is everything is consciousness. And when I've spoken to my crystals, so the first thing is they don't want it. But if they were to get it, much like you said, Justine, they would probably be able to dismantle that code anyway.
Yeah, you transmutate it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, the aspects
But that's not, I think it's important for us to mention in this moment that that's quite a skilled thing to do, right?
Yeah, well, look, you have to be at a certain level. And
yes,
I mean,
so I just don't want our listeners to be like, oh, cool, yes, I'm just going to do a little violet flame meditation.
No.
It's important.
No, it's important. You have to be at a certain level to be able to transmutate. So with respect to the crystal kids, because they have they're at a higher frequency and they will have more of their DNA strands activated, they have access to intergalactical information.
Quantum, yeah.
You know, so that's why these crystal kids that are writing books or whatever the case may be are far ahead than these Harvard professors, because these kids have got it's not only kids, okay, but kids in the future, crystal people have got access to sacred information from planets that they've come from.
The galactic star family.
The galactic star family. It's wide. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That spectrum is another episode. But coming back to you could call them X-kids, which have basically they might not be in the autistic or ADHD spectrum, but they have but they have special powers.
Yes.
So you can have there are quite a few kids, and what I do pick up in certain countries is that they keep these kids hidden because they
are protect or to
I don't know, not to protect. to experiment on.
Yes.
So you will have kids all over the world that will be able to
telekinesis.
Telekinesis. There's one
nuclear shit.
There's one child in India that is she creates fire, and from a young age.
That's the telekinesis.
In her village. No, it's a special name. What's it called? Hang on a sec. A pyromaniac or what's something.
Ah, okay.
So in her village, there used to be all these fires all the time, and they couldn't understand. And you know, in these small villages, you know, you think black magic or something. Anyway, the people came into the police eventually came in to investigate. But basically, she thinks fire and she creates.
Yes. Yeah. And if her emotions aren't, she doesn't have training. That's
So you have these X-kids, which have a high level of consciousness.
Yes.
Because if you think something,
it manifests.
It manifests
like
straight away, like me with the fire on the balcony.
Yes.
Okay, it was the day after.
Yeah.
And then you have kids, for example, that remember their past lives. So I think, you know,
and that'll be happening more and more and more
and more. Yeah. I have this friend who's a friend, but in academia. And she has this friend that is a Martian. And she asked me the other day, is he a Martian? And I said, yes. Yeah, no, he's definitely a Martian. And he's cool. There's no
malevolence.
I don't get any funny things there. You know, because Mars was attacked, their atmosphere was destroyed by a war. So definitely Martians here, or individuals that have had past lives on Mars. So you'll have these ex kids, which have specific gifts in terms of strength, in terms of
healing,
telepathy. Yes, can read minds, mathematics,
language.
So and they would form part of the crystal children. But on that spectrum, it's quite varied, you know, as well. But the aspects of society is that they deem them abnormal. Abnormal. Whereas they need
nurturing.
The environment,
and training.
The environment needs to be conducive to allowing their gifts and creativity to come to the fore.
Yeah. Guys, we're going to close it there. We're at an hour here, and upload speeds, blah, 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 blah. Justine, thank you so much. Happy Friday to everyone. We will only launch this next week. It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed the content today. Yeah.
Okay, Briggs, have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too. And guys, pose your questions, like us, do whatever to bypass algorithms. You know what to do. We don't really, but whatever. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Love you.
Yeah. Okay,
Love
Briggs.
You, Justine.
Love you too, babes.
Cheers. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You
Bye.
too. Ciao.
Bye.
What's up, baby?